So I'm trying something a little bit different tonight. This is not a live. This is a recording that I'm going to put on 4 different platforms. I was going to do a Facebook Live, but there was this little gray box up in the upper left-hand corner that I couldn't seem to get rid of. I'm not sure exactly what it was, but it was just irritating me. And being a tech guy, I just said, well, I'll just record then, and I did a Google search. I did a Grok trying to determine what it was. I tried a different browser that wasn't working. And another thing I'm doing today is I'm not eating an apple before I actually do a broadcast because when I was eating an apple, I was fiddling with my mouth and trying to get rid of stuff that was still in my mouth, you know. So, anyways, I'm not going to do that. Anyways, I haven't done that. Um, Looking forward to talking about some of the things that have been on my mind. This morning was really a tough morning for me. I don't know if you go through this, but many times I will wake up and I am just in deep thought about what's going on. Trying to correlate current events with the Bible that I've actually read for years, decades. I've been reading the Bible for decades. Didn't want to, but God spoke to me. Yeah, I didn't know it was God. He said, read the Bible. I'd wake up the next morning. He'd say, read the Bible. I'd wake up the next morning. I said, read the Bible. And I said, man, how do I get this voice to shut up? How do I get this voice to stop? I didn't think it was God. I was just like, hey, I'll get this voice to shut up. I'll read the Bible, and then I will get on with my life. You know, that was kind of the plan. It was something like that. I mean, this is like 50 years ago. 50 years ago, I've been reading the Bible, not for 50 years every single day, because I took 2 years off because I was so tired of reading the Bible. Now, that's kind of hard to believe for a Christian to actually say that. But some of you out there, you've never read the Bible through once, and you don't have a habit of reading the Bible. And you didn't have a voice going off in your head telling you to read the Bible. But I did. So resenting resenting it, I started reading the Bible, but then I had a problem. I couldn't get in the habit until I made a vow. And so I am looking at you, if you are a Christian and you haven't read the Bible, I'm going to ask you, what are the voices in your head that are preventing you from reading the Bible, that are keeping you? It's kept you 10 years, 20 years. How long has it kept you from reading the Bible? Have you analyzed it? I would be just like you. It's like I was reading the Bible for years. I go, what is the point? Why did I make this vow? Why did I do this? It's like God tricked me almost into reading the Bible. Now, I come from a single family home, a single parent home, single family, a single parent home. My mom, if it wasn't for her, I probably wouldn't be saved. If it wasn't for her, I might be in jail or something. If it wasn't for her and her living out the Christian life in front of me, then I don't know where I'd be. So I really, really appreciate her. So my challenge to you is to make a vow to the Lord to read the Bible every single day, 15 minutes out loud. Now, you don't have to make it a permanent vow. You can say, well, for this space of time, let's say 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, a year, you could read the Bible, you know, and see what it does for you. Now, if one of the voices in your head, I don't, is going off something like this, I don't need to read the Bible because my pastor will go over everything I knew. Everything I need to know. I am too busy with my life trying to make money. I am too busy. Yeah, I am too stressed out. I don't see the point of reading the Bible. But if one of the main things that keep you from reading the Bible is that you think that your pastor is going to give you everything that's in the Bible, let me tell you what happened to me. I was in a Baptist church, and this voice is going off in my head, read the Bible. So I started reading the Bible, and I came across something that I'd never heard before in any church service up until that point, including the Baptists. And it was something about tongues. Now, what went off in my mind was if it's in the Bible, shouldn't we be doing it? That's what's going off in my mind. So I'm reading this, and Paul the apostle is talking about tongues. I'm going, what is this tongues? I never heard of this. So I went to the assistant pastor and I said to him, what's this thing with tongues? He looked at me. He laughed. He says, I'll get back to you. Well, he never got back to me. You know why? Because I was gone. I was in the gymnasium of this Baptist church. A guy walked in through the doors. I'm sitting there thinking, what's tongues? What's tongues? Guy walked right up to me and says, are you filled with the Holy Ghost? I'm like, who are you? I mean, who let you? It's like, who let you in? Where'd you come from? I've never seen you before. And then he asked me, are you filled with the Holy Ghost? Oh man, he got me there. That was a hook. That was a hook. I said, man, what? So being a nice Christian, I'm thinking to myself, well, let's just humor this guy. So we exchange. I give him my phone number. And this is before cell phones. He called me up from a pay phone and asked me later, are you filled with the Holy Ghost? I said, no, I don't think so. Would you like to be filled with the Holy Ghost now? I said, well, okay. And it was him in a payphone calling me. I got filled with the Holy Ghost. And at the same time, my mother was listening to a preacher on the radio that was prophesying. We'd never do prophesying. This guy's prophesying? We got to go see some guy prophesying. Okay. I was gone from the Baptist church. Now, how does this apply to you? How does this apply to you? I never would have known about tongues if I hadn't read the Bible for myself. So my question to you is, what are you missing out on because you are not reading the Bible? Come on. Isn't it time for you to read that? Now, maybe you don't like this message that's coming from me. You're looking at me and you're saying, can anything good come out of a guy that looks like that? or he's too old. Why should I listen to this old guy? I have done this exact same thing. There have preachers I've looked at when I was younger, and I looked at him and said, can anything good, look at this, look how funny looking this guy is. Can anything good come out of him? And to my own embarrassment and shame, I ignored these people. One guy in particular said that Jesus came into his room and taught him something. I said, you got to be kidding. Jesus came into your room. Do people actually believe you? Years later, years later, I was in a church and the pastor had gone to this guy's school and was teaching about faith and believing God. And I was enjoying being in this church. I was there for 24 years, and it never dawned on me. I never connected the dots that he graduated from a seminary or whatever you want to call it, that was from somebody that I just thought was a kind of a nutcase. I never put it together. But years later, I said, why did I never like this guy? And I met a pastor who graduated from his seminary. And I said, wow, this guy's really something. I won't go into the details. I won't go into the details there. There's a story there. I think I've already talked about it. But I was so impressed with him. I went and I knew that this pastor that I didn't like, his name was Kenneth Hagin. I watched his funeral. I'm in my office at a high-tech company, and I am bawling, looking at, what this guy has accomplished and realizing, like totally misjudged him. I was a complete idiot, and he really had accomplished a lot. And not only that, his message was taken into other places of the world, and what they did with his message is just amazing. And I'll go into that later. My challenge to you, please consider reading the Bible. You put it off. You said, I'll get to it. Get rid of the I'll get to it. Stop procrastinating and start reading the Bible. God bless you. Have a good night.
Read the Bible when you're weary and blue. Why don't you read the Bible, brother? Every word is true. Take your troubles to the book of life and pray. Read the Bible every day.
Joshua and David had their worries, had their troubles in their day, but they knew no harm could overcome them when they heard somebody say,
now brother, read the Bible when you're weary and blue. Why don't you read the Bible, brother? Every word is true. Take your troubles to the book of life and pray. Read the Bible every day.
Should old sin begin to overtake you and old Satan's at your door, read the book, for there you'll find the answer, and sin will trouble you no more.
Now sister, read the Bible when you're weary and blue. Why don't you read the Bible, sister? Every word is true. Take your troubles to the book of life and pray. Read the Bible every day.
Let the Rock of Ages be your altar. Read a chapter every day. Raise your eyes toward the skies above you. Kneel right down and start to pray.
Now children, read the Bible when you're weary and blue. Why don't you read the Bible, children? Every word is true. Take your troubles to the book of life and pray. Read the Bible every day. Read the Bible